Oof, good morning. Froze again last night, and lucky for us, the furnace quit, so we got to enjoy the full experience of freezing. But anyways, lucky. I sourced the problem to this spring-loaded toggle switch. I'm assuming it's I don't know. I'm assuming it's there for a purpose. But anyways, for right now, I'm just going to bypass it so the furnace will work again because it's still -3 outside or something. And it'd be nice to have breakfast in a warm house. So once I get these two bags made up, typical fashion, it's starting to cloud over. Usually does that. The mornings are clear. Like it was -3 last night. And when it clears off like that up here, it normally freezes. So the morning was clear. Wind was blowing a little bit. And then yeah, by noon, it's just afternoon. I don't even have a watch on. I don't know why I looked at my wrist. By a little afternoon, it starts to cloud over. Wind might die down, and then it gets tough again by 6, 7 o'clock. So you only get like 5 hours of combining if you're lucky when it's like this. Which is why if you have a lot to do, it actually can be quite daunting because the days are so short. But they got the trucks down there. The baler man, he's over there. He lost a bearing in his baler last night, so he was in town this morning. He got those parts. He's getting his baler fixed. Dad's putting a light on the combine, signal light. Quite dangerous when you drive that big machinery around and one light's burnt out. So he's getting that fixed. Once I get my bags done, I think my wife and my mom took the trucks out to the field and probably the combine as well. So we'll get going. We'll get going here right away. Who's more fun to combine with, Dad or Grandma?
Dad and Grandma.
Dad and Grandma?
Yeah.
But who's more fun? Who does more singing?
Grandma.
And who does more coloring?
Daddy.
Daddy does more coloring?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you like riding in the combine?
Yeah.
What are we combining?
Wheat.
We're combining wheat. Good job. Good evening. This is our last quarter of wheat. When they started on it, we didn't get out yesterday. The day before, I think it was down to about 16. Now they're like 18.9. So it's like an auction sale here, just going up, 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 up. Of course, you can see by the clouds in the sky. There's no drying happens. This time of year in northern Alberta is a very difficult time. If you don't get the wind and the sun, you don't get any drying. Last night it was -3, so it took till noon even for that, like once the frost melted off the grass, then it was water and dew, and that there was not a lot of wind this morning, so it kind of stayed. So we got out here, I don't know, maybe they got out here around noon. I can't even remember what time that was exactly, but they're both going. They seem to be clipping along at a decent pace, I guess. It's running a little bit better. Nothing to get like real excited about. It's probably we'll probably average 40 across both fields. Some of this was running pretty good, and most of the other field was running terrible. So you never know. We won't know till it's over and the last kernel's in the bin. Then we'll be able to have a pretty good idea of what it ran, because I know where they're like down here at the bottom. This is a long slope to the west. It actually makes for quite a nice field. Halfway down the slope, it got all that water damage. So at the top, you have to slow right down. We don't run really big machines, so And when it's as tough as it is, like 18, even the straw's a bit tough, you got to slow right down because it's a pretty good crop on the west end. Then when you get down here where there's a lot of water damage, it plays out pretty good and you can clip right along. So they've been plugging along here pretty good. As you can see by the dust, there's virtually no wind to speak of, so I expect they won't be able to go too late tonight. It's clouding up pretty good to the west. They do have 30% chance of rain and stuff like that in the forecast. We find when it's fall, they basically, if they put any percent chance of rain, it usually rains. And in the spring, it's the opposite. They could put like 100% chance, or maybe I should say throughout the summer, they could put like 100% chance of rain, and then it doesn't even rain. So, not that we didn't get a lot of rain this summer, it's just they didn't predict any of it. So, I think this is about the third or fourth video I've talked about weather quite a bit. I guess the reason behind that, and I know the old stereotype that old farmers only want to talk about the weather, but when your whole entire livelihood hinges on the weather, it's kind of worth mentioning. You know, you can basically lose 6 figures in one night due to frost, you know, in one day due to hail, and you know, in a few days of drought, like a few days of too wet. So it is worth mentioning. And when you have the complete disaster that is the, you know, basically Environment Canada, or any meteorologist for that matter, it's frustrating because you wonder, like, you know, like, why even try, like, to make a 14-day forecast? Why not just make a, you know, a 20-minute forecast and call that good? You know, they can collect their $180,000 or whatever a year paycheck and just say, you know what, you want to know what the weather's doing? Give your head a shove out the window and have a look. And that's pretty much as good as we can do for you anyways. So that, but whatever. Anyways, I'm back in the tandem. So that was stories from outside the tandem. Now we're inside the tandem. We're gonna head back to the yard, unload another load of 18 wheat, 19 wheat, and be super discouraged by that, and dry and dry and dry and dry. But at least we are getting something now. Like I say, this field is yielding, obviously, well, we got 2 combines going too, so that's another thing that plays into the fact of, you know, I'm hauling more grain per hour because they're doing more field per hour than they were yesterday, or the day before, sorry. So it's still not running that good, but we are fortunate because it's running at all. I know there's I actually talked to another a new buyer today. I don't know, everybody's starting up their own shows here, you know, like so and so's commodities and whatever else. Kind of okay, I guess. There's lots more competition, but the thing is, they all pay the same. The end buyer is still the same, right? It's like, you know, it's like a feedlot down south or a country somewhere. So the buyer never changes. The end user, it's just how the middleman is changing all the time. So the price never changes. So you actually don't get a better price. You just get more competition for your grain, and seem to be no benefit really. I mean, you might get, somebody might send you a nicer hat or something. That's the only perk you get. And I mean, we haven't even gotten one of those in a long time. So, but he phoned this morning. He was looking for wheat. He said, oh, you know, we got a guy in your area, sort of a deal. And by that I mean like within a 5-hour drive. And he's just like, yeah, they need wheat. And I thought, well, that's weird. Like, you're talking about a wheat growing area. And he said, well, yeah, you know, it's tough up there. They haven't even started yet, and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy, because we've almost been hearing the opposite. You know, like, these guys have been blowing quite a bit of smoke telling us how good everything is. And now the buyers and stuff like that
I think Old Stats Canada is going to be in for a real shock when they find out how many empty bins there's going to be across the prairies. So, I don't know what that'll mean for the price. Like I told them, we realized that, you know, grain can't go to $100 a bushel because no one could afford that, but I don't know if it'll go up at all. There's certainly, I would say there'd be certainly room to move. So it's pretty dark. It's a little after 10, but they finished the wheat today, so that's exciting. It's probably getting a little tough. The straw feels a bit damp. They're just trying to fit the last of their combines in these last 2 trucks so they don't have to have the tanks full when they drive home. So, as always, to everybody that watches, thank you.